The Kenya National Rally Championship entered the second half of the season, and the next stop was the Kcb Wundanyi Rally. 8 stages with a mixture of tight winding hills and flat-out dusty roads were the ultimate test for the competitors. 34 crews registered for this event, and the cars were scrutinized at Wundanyi town during the pre-event check. But it was Carl Flash Tunder's monstrosity, the new Ford Fiesta Proto, that was the main attraction. This little beast had the deceptive, exquisite body of a Ford Fiesta, but with the engine, diff and suspension of a Mitsubishi Evolution 10. A 2-litre 5-speed engine packed with 300 horsepower, hitting top speeds of over 200 kilometers per hour, was the contraption Tunda was going to compete with for the first time in the history of Kenya. Unfortunately, 5 days before the Kcb Wundanyi Rally, Kenya's motorsport fraternity was saddened by the loss of one of Africa's most beloved sportsmen. South Africa's rally car driver Gugu Zulu died on the 18th of July while climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, while participating in a charity trek to raise funds to buy sanitary towels for young girls. Gugulethu Zulu, the 38-year-old driver fondly referred to as the fastest brother in Africa, made his breakthrough into motorsports, a traditionally white sport in South Africa, in the late 1990s. He went on to achieve great success, winning the domestic South African National Rally Championship 3 times in 2007, 2009 and 2010. Loss has been felt across the spectrum of South African society and even here in Kenya, where he had close friends and was an inspiration to many.
I've known Zulu for a very, very long time. Yeah, he's always been an inspiration to me. You know, this is a guy who came from nothing and proved to the world to conquer everything. And yeah, personally, it's a deep shock what happened to him.
He was a great inspiration to us local boys who are aspiring to excel in motorsports. He did very well in South Africa, and we were looking up to him in many ways. The Almighty Lord rest his soul in eternal peace.
So it was a glorious sunrise that lit up the action day, perfect rallying weather, and the event started outside the Kcb branch in the town centre of Wundanyi, and the Honourable Governor of Taita Taveta County, Engineer John Burutu, was on hand to flag off the cars, led by Ian Duncan, who was on his first road sweeping duty this year. The first stage took the cruise to Kishushe, a historical route of the Safari Rally when it was part of the WRC. 33 kilometers of twisty, narrow roads with steep drops was the initial challenge to test the technical driving skills of the competitors. Then the cruise travelled 34 kilometers to the short 600-meter spectator stage at Mwatate before a 20-minute service and refuel. The cruise headed 40 kilometers down to Maungu, where they tackled stages 3 and 4, the long 40-kilometer Maungu stage and the short 13-kilometer Maungu stage, which they run twice, with a 20-minute service and refuel break. The last 2 sections of the day were stages 7 and 8, the 38-kilometer Ndovu stage and the 17-kilometer Twiga stage. The finish and prize giving was held at the Rukinga Ranch. The Mombasa Sports Club had prepared a tough rally, 350-kilometer challenge, of which 194 kilometers were competitive and 146 kilometers were on transport. So first on the road was Ian Duncan, navigated by Andrew Doig. Andrew is the son of the legendary navigator champion David Doig, who was co-driver of the fabulous multi-rally champion Joginder Singh. Ian Duncan was driving carefully to keep the car on the road, and by the end of the stage he clocked the third fastest time. Second on the road was none other than Carl Flash Tundo. Tundo, navigated by Tim Jessup, was getting used to the power of the Ford Fiesta Proto. And by the end of the stage he was quite impressive and clocked the second fastest time.
It was interesting. I was trying to get used to the car and trying to find out what it can do. I don't think we were too fast, but it's definitely what I am hoping for with this car.
But it was the speedmaster Tapio Laukkanen who, despite starting 5th on the road, emerged the fastest on this stage. The Flying Finn was on full attack mode, especially where the roads had opened up. And his wealth of experience showing as he raced up the narrow ascents. By the end of the stage, Laukkanen had opened up a 30-second lead from Tundo and might have been even quicker if he wasn't caught up in Quentin Mitchell's dust.
It wasn't quite an ideal start. We got stuck behind the Mitchell about 15k, so I needed to stop quite a few times because of the dust. But I mean, yeah, it's part of the game again. You never know what's going to happen. But apart from that, I always shoot one junction at the beginning, and then all the rest. It was quite a nice drive and big push.
Rajbir Rai picked up where he had left from the Safari Rally and was still looking dangerous in his Ford Fiesta. His aggressive driving earned him the 4th fastest time, 1 minute and 30 seconds behind Laukkanen. Defending Kenya National Rally champion Jasprit Chate was uncomfortable in tight and narrow sections and driving carefully to keep the car on the road. Chate was 5th fastest, 6 seconds behind Rajbir Rai. Onka Rai, navigated by Zimbabwe's Gareth Dorr, recorded the 6th fastest time. They were also slowed down when they got caught up in Manvir Barrian's dust. The last few kilometers to the finish. Quentin Mitchell was back after a disastrous outing in the Safari Rally. He recorded the 7th fastest time, 1 minute behind Onka Rai. Imran Mogul got off to a great start in his Subaru Impreza N12, setting the 8th fastest time, though he was over 3 minutes behind Laukkanen. Sensational coastal driver Pietro Conobio, navigated by Silvio Frigo, set the 9th fastest time. Fahaz Khan, co-driven by Keith Henry, rounded up the top 10 positions in his Evo 9, just 2 seconds behind Conobio. But the first section was tougher than many anticipated. Dramatic scenes as the 2014 Kenya National Rally champion Baldev Chaga's hopes took a nosedive early in the race due to a minor hiccup when they softly landed on a massive hole after an off on a slow right corner. The crews were unhurt and Chaga retired in what could be described as driver error. Dramatic scenes continued as yet another driver, Eric Njogu, drove into a blind ditch in 4th gear. And Njogu later retired on transport with an overheating engine due to a punctured radiator. So after the first stage, Laukkanen was in pole position, followed by Carl Flash Tundo in 2nd and Duncan in 3rd. The crews then headed to the crowd-thrilling 600-meter spectator stage, which besides being more of a formality section, it had some awesome hairpin maneuvers and sideways action. The crews then got to their first service stop for a 20-minute service and refuel before heading to tackle the next stages.
Yeah, it's quite rough, technical, challenging. Then it's slow in the beginning, high speed in the middle with some big jumps. And then, slow again at the end. So it was quite a fun stage, actually.
Stage 1 for us was we didn't have the best of runs. We went off in the first 2 kilometers. We got out to check if there's damage, but luckily there was no damage. We got back in and we continued. And after that we couldn't really get into a good rhythm. But let's see how these other 2 stages go.
Yeah, it was quite tricky. We had a big off very early on, so after that we sort of took it a bit cautiously. So now we're going to the long stage, so we'll see how it goes and try and keep a good pace through that.
The competitors then proceeded to the semi-arid region of Mulumba, a wildlife corridor with a desolate mosaic of thorny trees and bushes. The roads were narrow and twisty with smooth, flat-out, long, straight sections. So let's pick up the action where the 2 stages totaling 53 kilometers were the next test for the crews. Mr. Heavy Foot, Tapio Laukkanen, was a man on a mission and on maximum attack. He put his sprint driving mode into marathon mode, flying through the stages, leaving his rivals gasping for breath. By the end of the 2 stages, Laukkanen had increased his lead by 1 minute and 21 seconds. Ian Duncan, the master of the marathon stages, couldn't keep up with Laukkanen's speed, but overtook Flash Tundo and was now in 2nd position overall. Chassis Chate was now getting into his usual rhythm and was in full attack mode. And by the end of the 2 stages, he was in 3rd overall position, but 2 minutes and 30 seconds behind Laukkanen. Carl Flash Tundo was struggling to adapt to the aggressive driving skills required to steer the powerful Ford Fiesta Proto. He had dropped to 4th overall position, 32 seconds behind Chate. Quentin Mitchell, navigated by Steve Cook, was looking for a good result in this rally. He pushed the nimble Scodia Fabia and was now in 5th overall position. Laukkanen's teammate Manvir Barrian was on beast mode attack. He was the 4th fastest on the 40-kilometer long Maunga stage and 2nd fastest on the 13-kilometer Maunga short stage, and jumped from 12th overall to a respectable 6th overall position. Imran Mogul was keeping it neat and tidy and was now 7th position overall. Veteran driver Frank Tundo, who's at home with endurance rallies, was keeping up with the leaders and was now 8th overall position. Issa Amwari was impressive and was in 9th place. However, he later retired from the race. His navigator Edward Njoroge explains.
CS3 we pushed, I think we did some good time. In CS3 we broke the power steering. We did it slowly, came to service, tried to fix it, but couldn't manage it. So we've retired, we're out officially.
The rally was getting tougher and the Maunga circuit was proving to be a car breaker section. Rajbir Rai, who's become a major threat in his feisty Ford Fiesta, sadly had to retire on the 3rd stage.
Clipped a tree stump. It's my mistake. But yeah, no, that's, I guess, part of rallying, and we'll come back for the next one.
Onka Rai, the only remaining Team Cabras crew member, also retired with a broken suspension arm. And Fahaz Khan also bowed out of the rally.
I think through the first stage we took a jump too fast and damaged the exhausts, and we came into this stage, the exhaust came off, and it was a sign that we had to go out, so that's it.
Usman Abdullahi tasted the first retirement of his career when he went off, hit a small tree and damaged the rear left arm. So after 4 stages, Tapio was still in top position and the chasing pack led by Ian Duncan settled for privileged positions. uncle and nephew crew of Mahesh and Ketan Halai were now in 11th position. Steve Mwangi was 52 seconds behind the Halais and in 12th position. John Nganga, who's back after a 2-year injury break from rallying, was having a great run and was now in 13th overall position.
The day we started very well in the morning. Route it was so tough, rocky, lakini ilikuwa mzuri.
Akif Virani continued with the Subaru Rampage on the leaderboards by pushing his Subaru N16 to 14th place. In the two-wheel drive category, as expected, Eric Bengi was peerless and had opened up an 8-minute lead from his closest rival.
In our assessment, actually the killer stage is the third section. It's very, very tricky, very tight, very twisty. Many people actually got out late out of the section, so did we. But so far so good, the car is still behaving very well.
Sami Nyori in a similar Toyota Runex was the second fastest two-wheel drive car and was in 22nd overall position. Alex Lairangi, navigated by Tony Gishohi, were already in big problems. They were reduced to hand signals as their second set of intercom failed, and to make matters worse, they had lost their exhaust, complicating their communication further with deafening engine noise. Somehow they kept going and were in 3rd place in this class. Defending two-wheel drive champion Leonardo Varese was yet another victim of the first stage and retired due to gearbox issues. In the SBV class, Carl Tunde was leading this category, followed by Asa Kalulu, who was enjoying himself in his Subaru GC8 and was in 10th overall position. Alfia Khan, navigated by Tosif Khan, was 3rd in this class in his VW VR6. He was 19th overall, but later retired when he tackled the second loop. Also out in this class were Adil Mirza and Edward Miner. The indomitable all-female crew, the Rally Chicks, were fighting it out with the boys and were in 17th place. Jassi Chatte's cousin and the youngest driver in the race, 19-year-old Dilraj Chatte, in only his second career rally, was 1 minute behind the Rally Chicks. Co-driven by seasoned navigator Rohit Budia, they were in 18th position. Debutant driver Amar Haq, brother of defending rally raid champion Adin Haq, was simply remarkable. Despite having hearing impairment, this talented newcomer displayed outstanding driving skills.
My first Knrc, I'm trying, not bad. It's good. It feels good. Yeah.
Navigated by experienced Victor Okundi, the crew were now in 21st position despite starting last and in 34th place.
Amar having a hearing impairment, we have to really be keen on our notes and to have a lot of trust on our intercom.
Chandrakant Devji was the only S-Class competitor surviving in the competition, and he was in 20th overall position. Ramesh Vishram, navigated by Riaz Ismail, were competing in the classic Ford Escort MK2, and they were in 24th position overall. The coastal temperatures were unforgiving, and 24 cars made it to the midpoint surface and refueled at Maungu.
It's just really hot out there. You can see I've covered myself in water, but yeah, it's just really hot and dehydration and stuff is setting in, but it's fun.
When sweat is dripping down your forehead and you literally, as you're reading your notes, you're wiping it off. So it's quite intense in the car, heat-wise, and it's, yeah. And we've got to have the windows up as well, which is even worse.
Shopping in a letter. So we're just keeping it clean, we're taking it easy. We have strict instructions from our sponsor to bring the car home, so no speeding. I'm on a Sunday drive.
It has been a rough day and a tough one. We have no brakes since the first stage, plus we had no steering during the last one, so we are a little bit stuck.
I drove well on the last two stages, and I think it's still halfway the rally and still have a long way to go.
The second loop of the Mulumba circuit, and the story at the front was still the same.
Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up.
The flying Finn, Tapio Laukkanen, punished his rivals with his blistering pace. And by the end of the two stages, Laukkanen had widened the gap to 4 minutes to the nearest rivals. The battle for second spot was hot, and it was between two rally giants. Defending Africa and Kenya champion Jassi Chate and the legendary Ian Duncan. Chate knew he had to attack and threw caution to the wind, outpacing Duncan by just 1 second, and was now in second overall position. Flash Tunda was a further 2 minutes behind Chate and Duncan, and Quentin Mitchell had picked up his pace and was chasing hard in 5th place. Manveer Barrian was breathing down Mitchell's neck and was matching the frontrunner's pace, clocking the second fastest time behind his teammate Laukkanen. He had now closed the gap by 1 minute and was in 6th position. Tapio was still in the lead. The second position was volatile with the two fabulous national champions Chate and Duncan in a hot duel. And the rest of the leaderboard remained, with Steve Mwangi making his first appearance in the top 10. The final two stages of the Kcb Wundanyi rally, the 38km Ndovu stage and the 17km Twiga stage. Unfortunately, there was drama for Tundo and Barrian. Their Fiestas caught fire at different points of the section. The cars collected plenty of the long dry grass on the roads, which got into contact with the hot parts beneath the machines. You can see just how close the fire was from the fuel tank in Tundo's car. However, Chate demonstrated great sportsmanship by briefly stopping to help Tundo, knowing that they had a slim 1 second lead from the marathon master Duncan. And by the end of the penultimate stage, Chate had lost time and was 7 seconds behind Duncan. The final 17km sprint, and Duncan kept it neat and tidy and finished the section in 9 minutes and 30 seconds. All eyes were on Chate as he gave the final push, foot on gas, not holding back. And by the end of the stage, he somehow managed to be 8 seconds faster than Duncan and grabbed that second position.
Yeah, we finished second, which is a great achievement, and I'm really happy to have finished second in second position. It's been a great day.
Duncan couldn't believe he had been displaced from second place at the final dash.
So yeah, it was quite a fun day, quite long, technical. So yeah, it was a good day. Yeah, I think we're number 3 by 1 second. That's a bit upsetting. So.
But it was the speedmaster, Tapio Laukkanen, the flying Finn, who was uncatchable, leading all the way from the start to the finish and snapping the dominance of the Mitsubishi Evo 10s with a 4 minute and 46 seconds lead.
It's always a nice feeling when you get the win. It was a hard day today. A lot of mileage. Quite a challenging and tricky stages, so very pleased about the result.
The winner of the Kcb Wundanyi rally. Congratulations to Tapio.
Quentin Mitchell was impressive and bagged his first finish this year in the nimble Skoda Fabia and in splendid 4th position.
We enjoyed being back thoroughly. For us it's a one-off, and to get to the finish was great, having not finished in the Safari.
Imran Mogul kept his promise of bringing the car home and recorded his best national rally finish in 5th place. And what a remarkable performance from Mahesh Halai, who also registered his best finish in the national championship. 6th place was a fantastic achievement. And look at the veteran driver Frank Tundo, the oldest competitor in the rally, still keeping his driving skills feisty and fresh and scoring a superb 8th place. The Subarus dominated the leaderboard with John Nganga and Steve Mwangi topping the top 10 positions. 18 out of 34 crews finished this tough and grueling rally. In the two-wheel drive class, Eric Bengi was back to his winning form, winning the class by almost 8 minutes. Sami Nyori finally bagged his second finish this year and was second fastest in this class. And despite all the odds, Alex Lairangi crawled to the finish in third place and getting crucial championship points, making him the new leader with 77 points. Bengi is now in second place with 75 points, and defending champion Varesi's unfortunate retirement has dropped into third place. In the SBV class, Asad Khan was the only one who finished and is now leading with 63 points. In the classic car class, Ramesh Vishram finished in 18th place, but unfortunately didn't garner any championship points since there were not enough competitors in this class. So the table remains the same, with Jonathan Soman still leading the class with 25 points and Vishram still in second with 21 points. Also in the S-Class, the championship table remained the same, with Chandra Khan still leading with 78 points since all competitors retired from the race in this class. So here is how the overall championship looks like. In Division 3, Natasha Tundu has extended her lead and now has 89 points. In Division 2, Mahesh Halai is still in top position now with 78 points. And in Division 1, Onkar Rai has a commanding lead, notwithstanding his retirement. He has 84 points. And finally, the championship takes an exciting turn, with rally giants Laukanen and Chatte tied in pole position with 79 points. Duncan is in third with 62 points and Rajbir Rai drops to fourth place with 61 points. The historic tighter routes gave us great action, suspense and drama, and all this has been made possible through the generous support of KCB Bank, who continue to make a difference in the development of motorsport. The next round will take us to the Mount Kenya region, where the 5th round of the Kenya National Rally Championship will take place in Nanyuki. We will see you there.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell